Let's be real, we all have them in our lives. At work, at home, you name it. People we find, well, difficult. But what if there was a way to completely transform those frustrating relationships? Not by changing them, but by changing how we approach them. So let's dive into a really powerful and practical guide for dealing with those people using a tool you might not expect: compassion.
You know, if you ever feel like you're just surrounded by difficult people, you are definitely not alone. I mean, not even close. In fact, a recent poll found that over 50% of us deal with difficult colleagues on a regular basis. Just think about that for a second. More than half the workforce. It's a massive shared challenge. But before we start pointing fingers, the next slide asks a question that, well, we all kind of need to ask ourselves.
So you look around the office, you're scanning the room, and you can't immediately point out the difficult person. It might just be time for a little look in the mirror. And you know what? That's okay. Because the truth is, we all have our moments, and that realization is the key to unlocking a whole new way of handling these interactions.
Okay, so here's the big shift, the crucial point. The problem isn't always the other person. Actually, more often than not, it's our perception of them. If we can just shift how we see the situation, we can completely change the dynamic. And it all starts with a simple but super powerful acronym. We need to win. No, not by beating them in an argument. It means asking ourselves what's important now. This is like a mental reset button. It helps us cut through all our frustration, our ego, and all of the baggage from past arguments and just focus on the reality of this exact moment.
And wow, does this story drive the point home? The speaker from our source material was having an absolutely terrible day. He was being rude to a student he was supposed to be helping, all because he was stuck in his own head about his missed plans. But then he stopped, he apologized, and he focused on her, the person right there. That one moment of connection, it turned into a 40-year marriage. It just goes to show how much we miss when we're trapped by our own frustrations.
Now this is fascinating. Think about that gut reaction you get, that instant dislike for someone. Our brain immediately tells us, oh, they're just mean, or they're weird. But here's the twist. 9 times out of 10, the truth is that they remind us of something in ourselves that we don't particularly like. They're actually more like us than we'd care to admit. Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice, especially with someone we just consistently clash with? Well, it comes down to this incredibly simple, almost silly-sounding trick called the nice hair technique. Here's how it works, and it's brilliant. Step 1, find one thing. Just one positive thing about the person. It can be anything. Maybe they're a sharp dresser, maybe they're punctual, or maybe, just maybe, they have nice hair. Step 2, before you talk to them, put that thought right at the front of your mind. Just repeat it to yourself. Nice hair, nice hair. Then, step 3 is where the magic happens. Your face follows your thoughts. Subconsciously, your expression softens. You look more open, less hostile. And that leads to step 4. You build a bridge. Your new open demeanor lowers their defenses, and suddenly you've created a tiny opening for a real connection.
Now, this isn't just some clever mind trick. It's actually rooted in a really deep, timeless philosophy, which is captured beautifully in a short story by Tolstoy. It's about a king who is searching for the answers to 3 questions he believed were the key to never failing.
His first question was this: what is the most important time? And the answer is so simple, but so profound. Right now. It's the only time we ever truly have. The past is gone, the future isn't guaranteed. This moment is it.
His second question: who is the most important person?
Again, a beautifully direct answer. The person right in front of you. See how this connects right back to that win principle? It's about being present with who is right there with you. And finally, the big one, the culminating question. What is the most important thing to do? To err on the side of human kindness. With the person in front of you right now, the single most important thing you can do is to be kind. This is the heart of it all. It's the philosophy that turns the nice hair technique from just a trick into a meaningful practice.
All right, let's make this real. It's one thing to understand these ideas, but it's another to actually live them. So here's your simple 3-part assignment to try out this week.
Okay, here it is. First, perform one totally unexpected act of compassion for the person you are closest to. Second, do the same for an acquaintance. Yep, maybe that difficult colleague at work. And third, perform one for a complete stranger. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture, just something simple and kind. And here's the catch. Don't get too attached to how they react, because as our final slide shows, their reaction isn't really the point. So the speaker gave this assignment to a staff sergeant, who very reluctantly bought flowers for his wife. He gets home, gives them to her, and her reaction, after a truly awful day, was to throw them in his face and accuse him of being drunk. It's a hilarious story, but the point is so powerful. His act of kindness was the right thing to do, no matter what her reaction was. The compassion was in the act itself. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? What act of kindness will you choose to do, even if you get no credit for it?